You won't need it to stay warm. You're so afraid of my affections. You could drown in your own storm. There's no need for reservation. No one else can see. After some examination, man, I think that you've got what I need. It's really alright. It's really alright. It's really alright if you don't love me. What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, that cold-hearted landscape or me? What's that look of consternation? I'm completely in control. So if you're thinking of evasion, there's something you should know. Well, I wouldn't say I own you, but you're a lover without liberty. Which would you rather face, a cold-hearted landscape or me? And with that, Synth slams shut the door to be alone with her captive Brian. Oh, it's one of my favorite little scenes from Namaris, the first one. But, you know, it's just that I like the song. It was fun to sing. Okay, so today we are working on branches. Branches which are supposed to be, you know, holding up. But they don't look, you know, I don't know. That might look a little weird. I think we should work on the front, and we'll see how much is left to put in the back. That said, we have this beautiful cork in 2 shades of green, and we have more than enough to do the greenery. Now, this is interpretive, you know, it's not supposed to look like real trees for anyone in particular. After all, not every tree is a triangle for a body, you know, a trunk. Unless it was a palm tree, in which case I could see that happening. But we're not doing a palm tree. This is a dense wood. So we are thinking more along like a different fantasy land. Red Riding Hood's fantasy land. So I'm thinking eyeballing this, of course. And I'm going to want something about that wide. And I think what I'll do is experiment with an image and make a template. Rather than waste more time squiggling around with the scissors, because this stuff cuts like butter. Like butter. And I can very easily overdo it, which is not what you want to do if you want to save time and materials. I thought I had a piece of cardboard here, but I do not. I have to go get one. Oh, save a little electricity there. Turn off the speakers, we don't need them. Pause for tea. All right. Now this has been a sad and rough week for some of my friends. I hope everybody is improving. I did get some good news just now. A friend of mine who had a surgery and got very sick afterward. She has a long recovery in front of her, but she's at least recovering, and thank God. All right, let me round this out just for starters. All right, so let's try there too. Okay, so it's got to go inside this space, and I've been mostly working on this a kind of a peanut shape, vague peanut shape. But I haven't been completely happy with it, so I'm gonna have to mess with it a bit. And maybe I'll make the dip a bit more centered, so this can be rounder. This has to be a little smaller. Okay. Maybe too peanut-like. They look kind of cool in the background, but not in the foreground. Gonna overlap. And let's try another. I see, problem right there. Kind of like that. What am I doing? Those are good scissors. This needs sharpening. Hello. I'm sorry, I did not see you. There we go. Now we'll be able to see her. So how are you today? We have a clearing but has been rainy day. Yeah, that pencil is way too light for me to see. I'm gonna have to use a marker. Or, oh, you know, the gel pen works really well. Oh, good. Okay, I did get some good news on my friend. The fever broke. It's gonna be, her daughter said it's gonna be a long recovery, but things are starting to show that they're healing. And of course, it's a step in the right direction, but she's still intubated and, you know, it's still a fight. But she's had a good turn. Oh, was it? As you can see by the bright light that's starting to enter my left eye, there was a break in the clouds here at the moment. Huh. I'm on to something here. Well, it was supposed to be rainy all day and then sunny tomorrow. And I've been walking around going, rainy today, sunny tomorrow. But it's getting a mix now. I would love it if we would get a little bit more rain. I got an awesome gift today. Actually, I got a bunch of gifts today. And it was 100% amazing. You know how there are certain things you might want to try, but you don't have the money to spend on just trying things. And also, I don't know, we're supposed to take good care of ourselves, but there are some things I didn't grow up with and I never think about, and I just don't take the time, like doing facials, doing my nails. My nails are more obvious because I actually have a problem with one. So it brings it to my attention and I have to get like a gel coat put on to keep it from causing pain. But the rest of the stuff, I've never been to a spa where you just get pampered all, for an afternoon or whatever. So I've got no idea really what those are about, unless you're very rich, and I have read a couple of descriptions, Hey, Charlie. Aw, you missed me, Bobola. Thank you. Yeah, I spent yesterday cooking and then eating. And it was so awesome, to be able to work in the kitchen with my friend. And he's really good at watching, the movements in the kitchen. So I move, he moves. So it was very nice because my kitchen's very tiny and there was a lot to do. So rescued me a few times with the dishes, I made 2 huge game hens, so big that we split one. In the old days, I would get little ones that was your whole meal. And this time we split it because it was 2 pounds a bird. And it's not the only thing we're eating, right? So how much food can a person eat? So I made a really good stuffing and corn on the cob. And then I got some broccoli rabe, and it was like perfect, great condition, big healthy leaves and all that, and the nice little flower heads. So I cut up a big beautiful red bell pepper and sauteed that with garlic and the chopped chunked up broccoli rabe and some hot pepper flakes, a little olive oil. It was a really nice side dish for veg. So with the 2 veg, and let's see what else. Oh, I did make gravy with giblets. So, oh, thank you so much, Charlie. It's AR. So shit now. RABE. So broccoli, like the usual spelling, but Rob, RABE. That's it, like Rabe. Yeah. Maybe. It's really good, sauteed with garlic, and I added some bright red pepper just for color and, you know, sweetness, because broccoli rabe can be a little bitter. It's like a good bitter to get your liver stimulated, so it's good for you. But it's different. Now, what I like even better than that are beet greens. Made the exact same way, nearly, mostly. So, how have you been since I've been off the air? Oh, yeah, and I also made 2 cakes. I made a tart lemon bundt, like a cream cake, but tart with real lemon juice icing, and a pineapple angel food cake, which you saw a few days ago. Still eating it. Still good. Oh my goodness. The day before. Oh, that's rude. Yeah, that's an asshole move. You know he has seen them. Bummer. That is an asshole. Right. Yeah, it sounds like he's withdrawing from the group. Has he been palling with anybody else? Oh, let him go, let him go, let him go. He's not participating, you know. It's a bore. Boring. So, you ended up going. How many people total ended up going to the movie? Oh, kind of bad movie, or just the general vibe of the group that ended up going? Because I can see it being the latter, you know, if this guy is just starting to disappear. Is Mods like the cafe? A place where you could get coffee and food? WTF? What the fuck? Oh, good. Well, maybe he was the inhibitor. Oh, okay. I still haven't seen the first one. Yes, I know I'm behind, and I wanted to see it. Black Panther. And I started to see it, and then it went off. I don't know what it was on. Netflix, I guess. Someone was showing it, and that's the only way I could see it if it was free. And I never got to finish it. It's like, what the hell? But, you know, that's my fault. I did not realize it had an expiration date attached. And I don't often watch new movies. Well, you know what, Charlie? At this point, if it is about you, it's his frickin' problem. If the rest of the group was about, hey, let's go to mods, it sounds to me like you got a group of friends there. And this odd man out isn't quite the right fit. He doesn't participate. That's not because of you. No, I know. Well, it's his problem. You're not the only person at the table, in other words, right? You know that. So if he was part of the group, you weren't the only reason he was part of the group. And if he chooses to sit there and not talk to other members of the group as well as not talking to you, then whose problem is it? It might have nothing to do with you. You're right. It could be somebody else, another person in the group he doesn't really want to hang out with. Yeah. Yeah, I see it. Oh, did you write something else? No, nothing is lighting up my board as blocked. So yeah, I'm seeing it. I like how you did that. No, I can't believe you would do that intentionally. I think he's just not feeling like he really fits into your group. He's kind of shows the signs of that by not participating when he's there. And then I guess the other group is picking up, the rest of the group is picking up a vibe because who wasn't saying, let's go here, let's go to mod? It's not the blocked word. We've been through this. I'm not assuming anything. You just said the B word, and that could be anything. I'm going to assume unflattering if you use the B word. Yeah, nothing's been blocked. I don't see anything blocked. Yeah, so move on. So what did your friends say about this? I mean, surely it's come up. Like, what's with this guy? How come he's not, you know, has anybody said anything to him? Hey man, what's wrong? Why are you going like this? I'm not playing. I'm talking about February guy participating with your group. in WhatsApp, and just like getting out of going to the movies with you guys at all. So well, you're talking about it here, but this is not a, these people that are friends of yours are not tuning into this show, I would assume. How many more do I need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I got 6. I need the dark green. There it is. Well, also, well, I guess they can see your name now. But before, it was completely anonymous on Twitch. What else? Well, I made a fabulous dinner, as I said. We will have the second half of that tonight. I'm focused on food. My friend who is in the hospital in intensive care made an improvement. The fever broke, and right now they're looking at it as this is going to be a long recovery, but she's going to be okay in the end. So that's good news, because it's been a very tense aspect to the last few days. Okay, get this. So we're at MCDs. We love that. We love MCDs. Is that what my eyes have been seeing as mods, and I've been saying mods? And it's MCDs. I'll try to put that in my mind. Halfway section. Halfway in the into the restaurant or cafe. McDonald's. Oh, McD's. Okay, right. Something gets lost when I make you use all caps. Come on. Got it, got it. Well, you Portuguese speak funny. Go on. We're at the place with the glass that's not like the outside, but also not the inside, having our dinner. Okay. You said, we're at the place with the glass that's not like the outside, but also not the inside, having our dinner. That's what you said. Anyways. Moral authority with their baby. Oh, shit. And is this related? Is this moral authority related to you? Of course. Actually, my Thanksgiving was amazingly good. Whatever you call that, you know what I mean? I'm not really sure, but go on. It's usually if someone who's judgmental is a moral authority. But yeah, I get it. Someone who has no right to judge, but they do. Okay, I get it. It's a good teen spot to be in. And of course, you should be having fun. It's fucking McDee's. Don't take it so seriously, right? But if you were loud and she had a baby or a child, I'm sure she gave you plenty of dirty looks. No, see, no, actually, you're the moral right, because if they didn't want the baby exposed to things, they shouldn't bring them out until they're ready to be exposed to those things. It's not a fucking library. It's not a nursery. It's McDonald's. And if you're worried about your baby seeing or hearing anything that you don't want, it's like catching a disease. You have a choice with that baby. You can expose them to where they might catch a disease, or you can keep them at home with one of the parents and let the other one go out and do the shopping or the McD run or whatever. Exactly. Well, that's a good point right there. 10 p.m.? Yeah, what are they doing out with a baby? Are they maybe out drinking? You never know. I'm just being a bitch there. But, yeah, you can assume anything about them just like they're obviously assuming about you guys. It's like, oh, you're going to be great parents. Wait until your little thing turns into a teenager. And let's see what you have to say, darling. Your friends disagree with you? Oh, you should all just hush on up because someone brought a baby in at 10 p.m. to McDonald's? You know what? I would say just if people were close enough to me to hear me celebrating, I might tone it down a notch out of politeness for the entire restaurant, but not just because someone brought a baby in. Why didn't they just leave one of those people in the car with the baby and the other one just goes in to get the order? Baby did not have to go into McDonald's. You guys are all there having a little party. That's a little different. And while, like I said, I'm a polite person, and I do sometimes go out of my way to make people feel better. But yeah, if they started acting like you have no right to celebrating because of their baby, that's where I would have to draw the line. I have to say something like, do you have a license for that child? Are you allowed to have that child out at night? Can you prove you're the parent? Or did you kidnap it? I mean, you could be a real asshole if you want. So what did they do? Did they complain to the management and insist that the management intervene? Like, we call those people Karens now. Even though I have a friend, Karen, who would never do that kind of thing. Yep. So what actually happened if things were not fine? What did you do, Charlie? Oh, yeah. I see. You know, as you get older, if you really want to be wicked good at this kind of shit, you gotta use your brain a little more. You need to think of your words as swords. Be succinct. You want to do the most damage possible with the fewest number of words. When you're dealing with someone who is clearly ignorant, and self-righteous, etc., etc. The only thing you can do as a smart person is come up with a bit of vocabulary that they're not likely to know. You can insult them with English without them understanding it, because they'd have to open a dictionary to understand what you just said. No, there was a good reason for that Exy. That came from a Karen, woman named Karen, who called the police on a black man who was bird watching, literally a bird watcher, was sitting watching a bird. I agree with you. They probably could have. They probably should have kept their mouths shut, because actually they had a baby out at 10 p.m. in a public place like McDonald's. They have no right to ask anything of anyone in the entire place except the person serving them. The server gets paid to do so. You were there and you already paid your money to enjoy your time there. So I can understand if they were polite and said, "Excuse me, kids, guys, young men, would you mind just being just a touch more quiet? We finally got the baby to sleep. We didn't want to leave her in the car." You know, I mean, that would be me. That's not everybody, as you observed. But how you handle it, how you handle it makes the difference. Now, I discovered this by accident, by the way. I did not set out to screw with people's minds. Because I didn't get any baby talk and I was left alone with a lot of books, I started reading at 3, and I ended up with the bodacious vocabulary, most of which I've lost in the following years. But by the time I was 9, 10, 11, certain adults were afraid to be alone with me because they did not understand what I was saying. It was very strange. I learned accidentally and without intention of doing so. I was intimidating people who did not have a vocabulary anywhere near my level. And I wasn't learning vocabulary on purpose. It was a side effect of learning to read, being there with a dictionary, etc. But it was not really comfortable at times, which is why by the time I was in high school, my greatest endeavor was trying to be average. I didn't want to stand out. I didn't want people pointing to me and like, "We expect this from you because of..." So, you know, we do things for different reasons. A Karen in America is a person who causes unnecessary problems for people of color because they're basically afraid or upset with somebody of color. So they try to make a big production. The Karen is the person who runs to the manager because they think those black women on the golf course or just who are playing too slow for them don't belong on the golf course, or they don't belong at the pool. So those are Karens who run and get the managers only to find out those people have just as much right as they have to be in the pool because they live there. I mean, they've been... Karens are the people that go out of their way to cause trouble for people of color. And that's what, when we say a Karen, it means someone who just goes out to agitate. When they see a situation, instead of like growing with the flow or being nice about it, they try to be, well, like yours. You had a Karen. Except it wasn't an issue of racism, it was an issue of youth. That's a good idea. But you don't need 48 hours, sweetie. When you go into an isolation tank, it's usually just for an hour. Now, I'm saying yes, do it more than an hour if you want to do the whole isolation bit. Is fasting going to be part of that? Well, no, no, no. You have to sleep. That's how your brain cleans itself. It needs hours of sleep in order to cleanse itself of the metabolites that it casts off from working. You know, cellular garbage. Your brain has cells. It has waste material, literally, and it has to have a chance to clean out. They think that not enough sleep with old people, or interrupted sleep with old people, is what causes certain forms of dementia. So it might have something to do with early onset dementia because of people living this constant awake lifestyle. Oh, sweetie, that's why people meditate twice a day, 20 minutes a day, 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. I do mine in bed in the morning, and I do it at night in bed before sleeping. It's great. That is what helps you get better control of your brain. You're exercising control when you're meditating until you reach the point where you don't have to control anything and you let it go. And then you're just like taking your brain out of gear so it can rest. And rest equals clarity. So if you want to be smarter, wiser, better at everything, you need to rest your brain. What do you think happens when you're alone? Your brain starts thinking, right? We have 50,000 plus, or 50,000 more or less random thoughts a day that just go through our head that mean nothing. They're just like little reruns of little coils of energy. I mean, it's just a lot of bullshit we go through. We think about things, we mull things over, we recite things from the past, we make speeches. This is the normal human brain. It's never quiet. That's why meditation is used. To get control of your brain, there is no real control. You don't want it. The only way you can completely control your brain is when you're dead. You don't want to be dead. So control begins with understanding your thought processes, catching yourself thinking, and then you either change the direction of your thoughts to change your energy, or you don't. If you catch yourself thinking something that is, let's say, reflective of low self-esteem, you're putting yourself down, or you're saying you're stupid because you missed that, or you didn't do that, or you did that. Okay, you catch this negative thought about yourself, self-critical stuff. Well, you won't know you have a superpower until it presents itself, will you? You'd be the first human that can do that. That would be a robot, and then it would require input. Well, if you cannot control it this far, what makes you think you would even go toward the direction of having a superpower that would allow you to control your brain 100%? You're trying to get a grip on it now just because you go wandering and get reactive, but it's kind of like your thing right now. If you weren't a little reactive anyway, I would kind of worry about you. Well, you can't. The idea is not to stop thinking because, like I said, to stop actual thinking, you'd have to be dead. And when you're asleep, you're thinking more and your brain is busier. It's more active when you're asleep than it is awake because your brain's doing a lot of stuff, behind the scenes stuff, filing things, downloading things. Well, those are different things altogether. Those are very big subjects. And when it comes to those belief and faith, I don't take those things lightly because a lot of people don't. You have to be careful what you're saying to people. When they grow up with beliefs that hold their lives together, It can be very emotionally confrontational to suggest there might be something in the world that's different from what they have faith in. Well, that's meditation. You don't know what meditation really is, do you? You've heard the word. You've got some ideas about it. How would you define meditation? I'm serious. Going in and out of a meditative state is controlling your brain for that period. Still, your brain is meant to think all the time. Think of what your brain is doing. It's controlling every single aspect of your body. It gives information to every cell. You've got over 1 trillion cells your brain has to watch over. Fix that, ignore that, do this, do that, digest, breathe, pump blood, cell live, cell die, cell divide. And to be able to die for both? Why would you want to die? Where's the death involved here? Why is that even part of the equation with your brain? You would have to be dead to stop thinking completely. It would mean there were no processes of your brain. Your brain's electromagnetical. What do you think your brain does? You need to read more about brain. Brain, what is brain? Controller. It controls everything. Okay. Why would somebody want to do that? Those are two completely different fucking things. Belief and non-belief, switch back and forth. Is there an advantage to that? Being able to just do critical thinking, that's not the same thing. Why would you... yeah, I don't see the sense in it. I don't see the advantage of even working on that. It's kind of like meaningless. Oh, yes, that works. Okay. That's right. You're absolutely convinced it's true. But we have learned, you can unconvince people. I don't see it as any kind of control. No, I don't agree. Those are two different mechanisms. You're trying to mix spiritual with logical stuff. I can't agree with that. I mean, that particular... If you're willing to die for a belief, you're absolutely convinced it's true. I can agree with that part. You believe it's true. If you're willing to die for a belief, again, it depends on which belief you're referring to. The ability to do it be maximum control. No. I don't agree. The ability to do it would be maximum control. That you could kill yourself? Meaningless. Absolutely meaningless. So what would be an example of a belief you'd be willing to die for that's not connected to your spirit? You're not giving me an example of a belief you'd be willing to die for that has nothing to do with spirituality or your spiritual life. I need an example. Obviously, if you bring up the word God, we're talking spirituality. There's no way to separate those two. Existentialism. So the point is, why people don't give up their life because of a belief over an equation of 1 + 1 = 2 or 1 + 1 = 3. Who's willing to die for that? Why would you be willing to die for that? It makes absolutely no sense. And why would you be convinced your family is dead? You would believe they're dead and they're right in front of you. What would make you, or why would that be an advantage? Turn that on and off. Oh, right now my family's dead. Now my family's alive. Why would you want to control your brain to turn it off and turn it on? And who would trigger that on and off? You? If you could, it would mean you already acknowledge the two existences of non-existence and existence. It doesn't require any control. It requires a fucked up mind. It's not control. So I disagree. No one is willing to die for those stupid things. Only time someone is willing to die is if there's a connection to spirituality. I did answer the question. It's bullshit. Your question doesn't, it's like your question doesn't exist. There was no control over your brain that can switch it back and forth. You'd have to even be aware of it to know it. So you cannot believe 100% in something and be willing to die for it and defend it for what's the purpose. It doesn't require any control. Belief is not about control. And turning it on or off, it makes no sense. You want me to say that the ability to turn something on and off in your brain would be absolute control over your brain. And I'm saying the goal in life is not to control your brain. You cannot control your brain completely because your brain has all kinds of autonomous things going on that are not subject to your will. If you think that controlling is the way for anything other than some self-control in how you react in certain situations, you're mistaken. And you're going to be on it's a wild goose chase and a waste of time. But if that's what you want to do, you certainly have the freedom to do that. If you think depriving your senses of rest and deprivation is the way to reach control over your brain, and yet you're not willing to contemplate the potential of using just normal meditation times to do that, it just shows me you don't know anything about meditation and you really don't know anything about controlling the brain. You've created this idea of how you might gain control over it, but you don't know enough about the brain to realize that it's not going anywhere. They is who? Who is they? You can only refer to your own brain. You can only refer to your own self. If you truly believe that control of your brain will give you what? What is it you wish to achieve? You know, there is something called brainwashing that people tried, kind of like praying the gay away. And they believed it was possible. And there have been many a gay person born who tried to convince themselves, no matter what, they can't be gay. And they work really hard on their minds to convince themselves completely that they are not gay. I don't believe you can do that. What would require more control than that? A lobotomy? Electric shock therapy? You're talking about something that can't even happen. It's fictitious. It's a fake ability. You're trying to make it into a superpower to control your brain completely. But again, you're in the realm of complete fantasy. There isn't anything like that. Your brain is going to function. You're going to control some of it. You can control some things that it does. You can direct it, but you can't control it. It's not yours to control in that manner. You can do thought games, and it's still not going to change the physical reality of how your brain functions. No, I do not. Not unless you're... No, you have to be a robot to turn your brain on and off. That's not how we're made. We're human. I'm sorry if that disappoints you. But you can get more control, more self-control by practicing meditation. And you don't have to punish your body and mind like it's some kind of a slave. It's part of you. You should cherish it and do things to support it instead of thinking about, I'm going to force it to do what I want so I can have complete control over my body, which is kind of the attitude there. And you have to always come back to question number one. What is it you fear of yourself that you feel you need to be able to control your brain that way? And what does control represent to you? That's really the bottom line, isn't it? Why control? I know that teenage girls lean toward witchcraft because of the need for control. Usually you see the ones that are doing that, the ones that are dealing with a lot of invisible issues. They feel invisible, they're treated like they're invisible. They may be dealing with abuse and they want control over their world. They become attracted to ways to control the world. You're looking for a way, for whatever reason, to control your brain. To do what? Shut my brain off at will and wait for some kind of a trigger to turn it back on? No. Again, you're just fishing for a specific answer, Charlie. You know how I feel about that. to switch between beliefs, like agnostic, or I'm an atheist, I'm a devotee of God. So when I'm sitting with atheists, I can turn on my atheist brain and think like an atheist. And when I'm with people who are really religious, I can turn on my religious brain and think like a purely religious person. Is that what you're getting at? Is that a simple way of expressing that? Agnes, hello. Now moving on. I just asked you very specifically. You're saying like, okay, you can switch yourself completely on or off. You can go from one belief to not believing. So you're saying that it would be a good thing, it would be an awesome and full control of your brain if you can go from an extreme, like I'm an atheist, and just switch it on. So when you switch it on, you're all atheist, and then when you switch it off, you're all, let's say, Catholic. Well, then don't consider it a win. Agnes, I have been concerned about you, darling. Has Lobster passed? Or did you have to bring him to the vet? What's going on? Charlie, by the way, if people could control their brain, and just like a belief or not, they could also control pain, like grief. You don't know what maximum control even is represented by. You don't know what that is to suggest that you would have maximum. Lobster is back? What happened? I can't wait to hear this. It's not really logical, because you don't understand what it is to have maximum control. You've got a fictitious idea about how the brain functions. Therefore, I can't agree with your fictitious idea, or your idea that it would be cool if you can switch your brain on and off. If you could, you would have maximum control over your brain. That's what you're saying. If you could go from one belief to another, like a switch, you would have maximum control over your brain. And I'm saying that if you could do complete belief to lack of belief on something, then you would have to have two brains, or you would be brainwashed, you'd be schizophrenic, or you'd have some kind of a brain problem. It would not be control over your brain. He was up and moving this morning. That's a good thing. He may have just had to fast himself. So there's a possibility for him to stay around until his parents get back. Yeah. Hold on, Charlie. I'm so glad you had that around to give him. Are you continuing with it? Keep him calm and all that? I know. It probably is, though, you know that. But it may not be last day rally. It may be another week, you know? We can give him energy. He may be trying to hold on until his parents get home. I hope they can. I mean, I hope that can happen for him. I'm sure they're praying on their end. And I see what you're saying, Carlos. I mean, sorry, Charlie. Oh, no, of course, of course. Oh, no, I mean, you would leave it there. It's whether he wants to drink it or not. That's a different thing. That's cool. Let's hope he makes it. He may be, like people do, holding on for the ones they love. Oh, is that all that's left? They're coming back December 5th, right? My friend has to leave on the 5th. It's too soon. Well, how are you and Orion feeling? I believe it's possible to have more than one belief and it not be a matter of controlling the brain, but rather it would be about thinking and recognizing that the world is full of paradoxes. So I could accept it on that level, but that's not about control of the brain. You can control thoughts, you can direct your thoughts. Meditation teaches you how to let go of things and calm the brain and get to a point of peace. So your brain can come up with its brilliant ideas. No, no, I'm not saying mental issues. I'm saying that a smart person can hold understandings of more than one concept, even though they're opposite, and even believe that two opposites are both real. They can both be true, even if they're opposites or different. So I don't believe it has anything to do with control of the brain. I think it has to do with intelligence and the ability to think on different levels. Oh, Jesus. Oh, good. Well, you got to keep the spirits up. I got some good news. My friend Mindy is still on the ventilator, but her fever broke today. They said she's got a long recovery ahead of her, but she is on the mend. I have to say that that's a yes or no is inadequate. And I did answer. Oh, Oh, likeness, of course. Yes, I have kept the candles burning, so to speak. Because Charlie, here's an example of two different beliefs, I guess. I believe that we can elicit control in this world. We can change energy. We can move things. We can't destroy that, but we can move it around. And we can assist. But that doesn't make us the controller. That's the word I used. It's inadequate. Why do you keep saying, what do you mean? When I was in junior high school, the brain had me completely fascinated. Still, that's why I went into science and why I wanted to go to college and study the brain specifically. As it happens, what I was looking for is more along with the lines of seeking what interpretations of consciousness. I was looking for the seat of consciousness. I wasn't really looking for as much as like science as I thought I was. But I had to get to a certain age and level of learning to understand what it was I was really seeking. Oh, you're distracting me now. I probably have to stop and think. And Charlie, you do know that I'm holding multiple conversations at the same time, so you are getting a distracted me. And my explanations are bound to be inadequate because now my focus is oinkness and what's going on with her and her husband and her a dog that she's been taking care of who's been on the verge of dying any minute. And my mind is also wandering to my best friend from childhood who has been on the edge of dying herself for several days. So I am distracted. I can say, though, that my dear friend is in the bedroom watching a American versus England game. Well, in a way, it's a pink flag. It's not white. I'm not surrendering, but I'll have to just put this off to another day. So make a note of it so we can come back to it if you want. And now I am puzzled about where I'm going to put this. It doesn't look like I really have a place for that. Okay. All right, this is where we have it so far. Qatar controversy. I thought Qatar meant shit. What does Qatar mean? All right, I need my foot. I need my foot template. Okay, guys, hold on a minute. I have got to go get my template, which is in my notebook, which is in the bedroom. So give me a minute. I think it's a good chance to resonate. I'm going to bring this in a minute. I want you to see what I did. Tell me what you think of it, whether it's done or I need more. Okay. Here is a model of Toblerina. Wait, hold on. The controversy that almost 7,000 people died for building a tower. Oh my God. That sounds familiar. When did that happen? That rings a bell. A bad bell. Meg, hi. Oh. All right. All right, Meg, you came here in the nick of time. Is this done? I hope you did. It was wonderful. It was wonderful. It's going to be wonderful again because I made enough leftovers. How about you? Yes, it is. What not my roommate. I don't have a roommate. It's my best friend, my company. You like it? Yeah, okay, right. Yeah, they don't have building standards that they're supposed to stick to. So what do you think, Meg? Is it... I have to make a red cape for her with a hood. So I was thinking of it being somewhere around here on the road, but it could be over the river and through the woods, you know? It could be basically anywhere. No, I don't have a room. I said in my bedroom. He's in my bedroom watching the laptop. All right. This is the last one. Now we are ready to start the photography. But I gotta tell you some good news. I got a gift today. Actually, I got a few gifts. I got 24 collagen face masks with every single one of them is a different flavor, like cucumber, gold, pearl, snail, etc., etc., etc. 24 of them with different effects on the, but they're all collagen masks, right? So that's one. Then a gift for Toblerina, a foot mask, and ditto for a hand mask, right? Lip mask, and okay, I got a, I got the Dungeons and Dragons, basically how you play it. With it shows all the different players, you know, the different people you can be, and what your talents are, your skills, where you're going, etc. Now, this is a $50 book, and here is the irony. One page in it, the print did not do well, and you have to struggle a little bit to read it on one side. And it turns out that's where my character is. So I'm like, oh wow. I said, well, you know what? It really doesn't matter because I can read it. And all the numerical stuff, the skills, all that, that's on the right side, which is perfect. So I know what I am, but I have this book now. It's like, oh, a treasure. So yeah, when I started playing, I looked it up because, you know, there's an online reference. You can look it up, things up online. But, you know, you can't download it or anything. Oh, really? Oh my God. It's the play, you know, how you'd play D&D, basically. Like, I'm a monk, a human monk, so it tells you what human has this, monks do this. The next one I want is the monsters. Now, I don't know how many editions these things have and all that, but yeah, I forgot you played. And let me, I'll go get it. It's gorgeous. It's like, wow, look. Okay, I'm going to show this to our friend. Be right back. You're on YouTube, yeah? I'm on YouTube. I'm going to show Meg this. Ah, yeah. She might have a PDF of the page. That's hard to read. Who's there in the show? Well, Charlie just had to go do something, but Meg might have some. I don't know. I don't see it. It says there's 5 viewers. All right. Oh, I don't know. It is. I'll look inside. How gorgeous is this? First, October 2018, I guess, is the most recent. Do I go by that? It doesn't say anything other than that, I don't think. The forward is from May 2014. Ah, okay. Oh, damn, you're good. Oh, thank you. Far out. This is so beautiful. I love the printing. But I just cracked up, you know, it's like I went and looked up my character, of course, after perusing a minute or two. And I was like, okay, what does it say for me? And page 76 is the monk. And right there was a screw up in the printer. And I'm familiar with this kind of thing happening. It's usually like a paper doesn't go through at the rate it's supposed to. Well, they were running out of ink. But this side is perfect, and ditto after, so, you know, everything that's really important for me to learn, I can do. This part, it's like, I know what key is, training and asceticism, you know, the basic moves of the monk. Yes. So I will be learning. These are gorgeous. I am welcomed back. Welcome back, Charlie. Yeah. Now, up till now, I have only seen them for sale, and occasionally, you know, in a bookstore and online, in the online edition. And I saw the monster one online because I was trying to find, what am I going to be fighting? What might I be fighting? And it was like, I got to learn something about monsters. And that's another one. I mean, they're gorgeous. It's really nice to be able to have a physical anything. And this, of course, most importantly, will teach me about my teammates, you know, what they are, what they can do, so I know what to count on them for and all. I love that so many people can do like spell casting and all the fun shit being in a fantasy world. So what were you? Oh, I know, but that's great. Oh, I would like that. That would help to have the whole thing right there where I can look at it. My computer monitor is really nice. So that'd be awesome. Thank you. Wow. These are like fun, charlatan, criminal, you know, false identities. What is their acolyte? Wait. Really? Yeah, some of these seem to have, is it my imagination, or they have more about their characters than, oh, I see, because they've got, some of them have alphabets, right? Dwarfish, Elvish. I wish I had this around when I invented the Numerian cipher. Personality and background. Yeah. This is big time, like, wow. I love the artwork. It makes me want to get oil paints. Although, that could be pastels, actually. How cool is that? Oh, no, probably not. Look at that. Throw a lever or a switch. Pull a torch from a sconce. Take a book from a shelf you can reach. Extinguish a small flame. Don a mask. Interacting with objects around you. That is really cool. Things you can do while you're moving. I didn't even think of that. Oh my goodness. See, I should have known all about this before I started writing Numeris. But I did not discover D&D until after, well, it was between husbands, actually. It is a lot of information, but it's such a fun stuff. I mean, it's so imaginative. Draconic bloodlines. Wild magic surge, tides of chaos, bend luck. And it's just freaking brilliant. You go, who thinks of these things? These people. Yeah. Different kinds of attacks. What is a spell? Yeah, I figured I need to learn something because I can't wear armor. Wearing armor as a monk inhibits your moves. So, yeah. Thank you. I'm not going to be able to get my email at the moment, but yay. Did I read correctly that you got your tickets? I've got my phone with the chat on it so I can actually read it. And here we go again. Made the mistake of looking up with the glasses on. Yes. I saw it. I mean, that whole episode with those tickets made the news big time. It sounded like everybody got burned. Yeah. I am going to go. Oh. Well, yeah, that you got through, and that is something. Is it at least in your town where you live, or are you going to have to like travel across country? I'm going, Charlie. I am sorry, I must stop the games and fun. I'll be back, but I'm hungry. I think it's time for some fresh tea, some food. Oh, as state. A 7-hour drive. Oh my God, Meg. Well, that's devotion. 7-hour drive. Well, I didn't do that to go to the beach when I lived in North Carolina. It was 6 hours or 6.5 hours to get to Myrtle Beach from where we were inland. So, yeah. I didn't see a beach for 17 years, and I can't really say I missed it. I have it in my brain. I can meditate and be back on the sand. So, guys, tomorrow there was a town within Uber distance that has a river going through it, and there's a parade of boats for the kids. Santa arrives by boat. So the boats become floats of electric lights. So we're going down. We're going down to that town and observe lest someone drown. I make no excuses, my poor poetry. But it does sound like we're going to have fun. We're also going to eat out. Yeah, dinner is what it was yesterday, and it was a really good meal. I made a really good meal. I'm very happy with it. And we're going to be happy with it a second time. Rock Cornish hen, broccoli rabe cooked with red bell pepper, hot pepper, lemon juice, garlic, little salt, stuffing, corn on the cob, gravy, and of course cranberry sauce. Boats become floats. Exactly. Light bearing. They dress them up like, they showed a picture online of a gigantic octopus, a purple octopus, covering, up from the top and going over the sides of the boat. Looks really cool. So I can't wait to see that, now that they can use so much more interesting kinds of lights than they used to. The famous rabe, yes. It's R-A-B-E, though. So, darlings, thank you so much for joining me for this visit today. I'll be back when I can until December 5th, and then through the weekend of the 9th. I will not be reliable, except for Sunday morning. We will have the Sunday morning show for sure on Twitch. But everything here on YouTube is going to be catch as can catch. Okay, so I have company, and I want to spend as much time with that company. And, you know, I don't want anybody to feel bad because I love you guys. So have a wonderful weekend if I don't get back here before Sunday morning. And I better say goodnight. Get something to eat. Have a nice rest. Do a few minutes of meditation. Charlie. Try any of the meditations I have down here. Go somewhere in your brain. Enjoy the experience. I'll see you soon.